They said the Alpha King feared nothing, not war, not betrayal, not death. But the night he looked into the eyes of the girl everyone called weak, he felt something far more dangerous. Fate, Ariana Vale had survived by being invisible. In a pack where power meant survival, she lowered her gaze, hid her strength, and let them believe she was nothing. A servant, a mistake. A girl unworthy of the moon's blessing. But power does not disappear just because it is ignored. It waits, and when the most ruthless Alpha King in the territories returns to claim a Luna, the entire kingdom prepares for a display of dominance and desire. No one expects his wolf to awaken for the quiet girl standing in the shadows. No one expects the bond. And certainly, no one expects what will happen when he brings her into his chambers, determined to prove she is weak. Because that night, beneath silk sheets and silver moonlight, secrets will burn, power will rise, and a king who thought he wanted a warrior queen will realize the most dangerous strength is the one that never needed to roar. The Alpha King thought she was weak, until one night in his bed changed everything. The girl no one feared the night the Alpha King returned. The entire Blood Moon pack trembled. Torches blazed along the stone walls of the great courtyard. Warriors lined up in perfect formation, their armor glinting under the silver glow of the full moon. The air itself felt charged like lightning was about to split the sky open, and in the farthest corner near the servant quarters, she stood unnoticed. Ariana Vale, thin, quiet, head always lowered, the girl everyone believed was weak. Her stepmother had made sure of that. Stand straight. Her stepsister Lyra hissed under her breath. The Alpha King despises ugliness and weakness. Try not to embarrass us. Ariana lowered her gaze further. If only they knew, if only any of them knew what she was truly capable of. But power, when hidden long enough, becomes invisible. And Ariana had been invisible her whole life. A deep horn echoed across the valley. The Alpha King had arrived. The gates opened slowly, groaning like ancient beasts awakening. Black horses stormed through first, followed by elite warriors draped in dark crimson cloaks. And then he entered, Alpha King Kale Draven, tall, broad, shouldered, dressed in black armor that looked forged from night itself. A scar slashed across his jawline, only adding to the dangerous perfection of his face. His eyes glowed faint gold. Dominant, ruthless, unmatched, the most feared alpha in all 5 territories, Ariana felt her wolf stir violently inside her chest. Not in fear, in recognition. Her breath caught. No, it couldn't be. The mate bond was a myth for someone like her. Weak girls didn't get fate. They got leftovers. Kale dismounted slowly. His boots hit the stone with deliberate force. The courtyard fell into absolute silence. He scanned the crowd once, disinterested, until his gaze paused. Just for a fraction of a second, on her, Ariana, hidden in shadow, something flickered in his golden eyes. Confusion, irritation, curiosity, then it vanished. He turned away. Lyra stepped forward dramatically, bowing low. Welcome, Alpha King. We are honored. Her voice was honeyed, rehearsed. Kale barely looked at her. His wolf was restless. It growled again, mate. The word echoed faintly in his mind, impossible. He had rejected 3 powerful female alphas already. He did not need a mate. He did not want weakness tied to his throne. His jaw tightened. Prepare the Luna ceremony, he ordered coldly. Gasps filled the courtyard. The ceremony meant he would choose a future Luna. Lyra's eyes sparkled with ambition. Ariana's stomach dropped. The ceremony would expose every wolf's strength under moonlight, and if her power slipped, everything would change. Later that night, in the servants' quarters, Ariana stared at her reflection in a cracked mirror. Her plain dress hid the curves she'd grown into. Her hair, usually tied messily, fell down her back like liquid midnight. But what truly frightened her were her eyes. They shimmered faint silver, not normal wolf gold, silver, royal bloodline silver. Her real father had whispered the truth before he died. Asterisk, hide your strength. If they discover you're descended from the moon sovereign, they will either worship you or kill you. Asterisk, so she had hidden. She had let them believe she was weak. She had swallowed insults, endured punishments, stayed invisible. But tonight, when Kale's eyes met hers, her wolf had roared, and she felt something dangerous unfold in her chest. A knock suddenly echoed against her door. Sharp, authoritative, her heart slammed. No one visited servants this late. She opened the door slowly and froze. Alpha King Kale stood there, towering, intimidating. His golden eyes burned down at her like wildfire. "You," he said simply. Her throat went dry. "Am my king." His wolf surged violently again, stronger this time. Possessive, furious, alive, he stepped closer, too close. "I know what I felt," he murmured, voice low and dangerous. "And I do not make mistakes." Ariana's pulse thundered in her ears. He leaned down slightly, inhaling her scent. His expression darkened. Silver moonflower, rare, royal. His eyes flashed. Why does a weak servant smell like a queen? Her secret was cracking. Piece by piece, she swallowed hard. "You're mistaken." His lips twitched, almost amused. "No," he said quietly. Then his voice hardened. "Come with me." Her breath hitched to where? His gaze dropped to her lips briefly before returning to her eyes. "My chambers," the air between them ignited. Not soft, not romantic. Raw, dangerous, explosive. "I will know the truth tonight," the Alpha King said. And without waiting for permission, he turned and walked away, fully expecting her to follow. Ariana stood frozen for 3 heartbeats. 1, 2, 3. Then her wolf whispered something she could no longer ignore. "Go." And for the first time in her life, the weak girl stepped out of the shadows, straight toward the Alpha King's bed. The Alpha King thought she was weak, until one night in his bed changed everything. The night that broke the lie, the corridors to the Alpha King's chambers were silent. Guards stepped aside instantly as Kale walked past, his presence alone enough to command obedience. Ariana followed a few steps behind, her heartbeat echoing in her ears louder than the sound of their boots against marble. Every instinct screamed at her to turn back, but fate had already tightened its grip. When they reached the massive black doors, Kale pushed them open without hesitation. His chambers were vast, lit by low, burning torches and moonlight pouring through tall arched windows. Dark velvet drapes swayed gently in the night breeze. At the center stood his bed, large, carved from ancient oak, covered in deep crimson sheets. Power radiated from the room. This was not just a bedroom, it was a throne room in disguise. Kale closed the doors behind them. The heavy sound echoed like finality. Ariana swallowed. "Why am I here, my king?" she asked softly. Kale didn't answer immediately. Instead, he slowly removed his gloves, placing them on a nearby table with calculated calm. His golden eyes never left her. "You tremble," he observed. "I'm standing before the most feared alpha alive," she replied. A faint smirk touched his lips, and yet, he stepped closer. "Your wolf does not fear me." Her breath caught. He circled her slowly, like a predator studying prey, except there was hesitation in his steps, confusion. "Desire, conflict, from the moment I entered the courtyard," he murmured. "My wolf has been restless, agitated, drawn to something it refuses to name." He stopped in front of her. "You," the word landed heavy between them. Ariana's pulse quickened. She could feel the bond, now faint but alive, pulling at her chest like invisible thread. Dangerous thread. Kale reached up slowly and lifted her chin with 2 fingers. Her skin sparked under his touch. His eyes darkened. "That is not the reaction of a weak wolf," he said quietly. She could lie again. She should lie again, but being this close to him, it was harder than she imagined. "I am what everyone believes me to be," she whispered. "Then look at me," he ordered. She did, fully, and that was his mistake, because the moment her silver eyes met his golden ones, power shifted. The air thickened. Her wolf surged forward, not submissive, not frightened, equal. Kale felt it instantly. His breath faltered. "What are you?" he murmured. Ariana stepped back slightly, breaking the contact. "You should not have brought me here." A growl rumbled from his chest. Not angry, but possessive. "I bring whoever I choose," he said. "You brought your mate," she replied before she could stop herself. Silence, absolute silence. The word echoed between them like thunder. "Mate?" Kale stiffened. His jaw tightened. "I do not have a mate," he said coldly. "You do." she answered, her voice steadier now. You just believed she would be stronger. The truth cut deeper than claws. Cale's pride bristled. He had imagined his mate would be a fierce alpha from a rival pack. A political advantage, a warrior queen, not a servant, not the girl everyone ignored, his wolf snarled in protest. But it did not deny it. He stepped closer again, this time slower. If you are my mate, he said quietly, prove you are not weak. A challenge. Not cruel, demanding. Ariana's heart pounded. This was the moment she had feared her entire life. If she revealed her true strength, there would be no hiding again. But if she didn't, he would never see her, never truly choose her. She closed her eyes. The moonlight pouring through the window intensified, almost responding to her breath. Cale frowned, the air shifted. The torches flickered violently, and then Ariana's eyes snapped open. Silver light burst from them, not gold, not ordinary, silver like liquid moonfire. Power rolled off her in waves. The windows rattled, the very floor trembled. Cale took an involuntary step back, not in fear, in shock. Royal blood, ancient, pure, impossible. Her voice changed, soft but commanding. I am Ariana Vale, she said. Daughter of the last moon sovereign. The room fell still. Cale's heart slammed against his ribs. The moon sovereign bloodline had vanished decades ago. Slaughtered, erased, and yet here she stood, in his chambers, in his bedchamber, hidden as a servant. His mate, the silver glow slowly faded as Ariana's strength settled back under her skin. She swayed slightly from the effort. Cale caught her instantly before she could fall. His hands gripped her waist, strong, warm, real. Their bodies were suddenly inches apart. But everything had changed. He no longer looked at her with suspicion. He looked at her with awe, and something far more dangerous. Respect, you let them believe you were weak, he said quietly. Yes. Why? Because powerful girls are hunted. His grip tightened instinctively. No one will hunt you here, she looked up at him. Will you protect me, Alpha King? The question was soft, but it carried weight heavier than crowns. Cale lifted his hand and brushed a loose strand of hair from her face. My wolf has already chosen, he admitted, and what about you? She whispered. His golden eyes softened for the first time in years. I thought I wanted strength beside me, he said. I did not realize strength could look like survival. The tension between them shifted. No longer about dominance, about understanding. Slowly, gently, he guided her to sit on the edge of his bed. Not as a possession, as an equal, he knelt before her. A sight no one in the kingdom would ever believe. You are not weak, he said firmly. Her throat tightened. No. He continued, voice low, intense. You are the strongest woman I have ever met. For the first time in her life, Ariana felt seen. Not as a servant, not as a shadow, but as herself. Outside, the full moon burned brighter. Inside, something even more powerful had awakened. Not just a bond, not just attraction, a partnership that could shake kingdoms. And neither of them yet understood that this one night in the Alpha King's bedchamber was only the beginning of a war that would test both crown and heart. The Alpha King thought she was weak, until one night in his bed changed everything. The ceremony of fire mourning came like a warning. The entire Blood Moon pack gathered in the grand arena carved into the mountainside. Stone pillars rose high into the sky, each engraved with ancient wolf sigils. At the center stood the Luna platform, a circular slab of white marble where the chosen mate would stand beneath the full gaze of the pack. Whispers filled the air. The Alpha King would choose today. Lyra stood near the front, draped in silver silk, her chin lifted confidently. She had spent the entire night imagining the crown on her head, the throne beneath her feet. Ariana stood farther back. Not hidden this time, not shrinking. She wore a simple midnight blue gown Cale himself had ordered for her at dawn. It hugged her frame with quiet elegance. Her hair fell freely down her back. Her silver eyes no longer dulled. When Cale stepped into the arena, silence crushed every whisper. He looked different today, not just powerful. Resolved, his golden gaze swept over the crowd and stopped on Ariana without hesitation. Lyra noticed. Her smile faltered. The High Elder stepped forward. According to ancient law, the Alpha King will present his chosen Luna. If she is strong enough, the moon will bless the union. A hush fell. Cale descended the stone steps slowly, each step deliberate, each breath controlled. He stopped in front of Lyra first. Gasps rippled, Lyra's lips curved in victory. "My king," she whispered sweetly. Cale's expression remained unreadable. "You desire to stand beside me?" he asked calmly. "More than anything." He studied her for a long moment. Then he stepped past her. The arena erupted in confused murmurs. Lyra spun around, fury flashing in her eyes. Cale walked straight through the crowd, straight to Ariana. Every wolf present felt it now, the air tightening, the energy shifting. He stopped in front of her. "Ariana Vale," he said clearly. Her name echoed across stone. Her stepmother paled. The servant stared in shock. Lyra's face drained of color. Cale extended his hand. "Stand with me." The entire kingdom held its breath. Ariana looked at his hand. This was no longer about hiding. No longer about survival. This was choice. She placed her hand in his. The moment their skin touched, the mate bond flared violently. A pulse of power burst outward from them. Wind whipped through the arena. The sky darkened slightly as clouds swirled around the sun. The High Elder stumbled back. "Impossible," he whispered. Cale guided Ariana onto the Luna platform. Together, equal steps. When they reached the center, Cale did something no Alpha King had ever done before. He bowed his head slightly toward her, not submission, recognition. "She is my mate," he declared. His voice thundered across the mountains. "And she is my equal." Gasps turned into stunned silence. Lyra stepped forward angrily. "She's a servant. She has no strength. This is madness." Ariana closed her eyes slowly. She had hoped it wouldn't come to this, but some lessons required light. The full moon, though faint in daylight, suddenly glowed brighter above them. Silver light poured down like liquid silk. Ariana inhaled deeply and released her power. This time she did not hold back. Silver fire erupted around her, swirling like a living storm. The marble beneath her feet cracked slightly from the force. The ancient sigils along the pillars ignited in response. The entire arena trembled. Wolves dropped to one knee instinctively. Not from fear, from instinctual recognition. Royal blood. The High Elder fell fully to the ground. The moon's sovereign lives. Lyra staggered backward, horror overtaking her arrogance. Cale watched Ariana, not surprised this time, proud. The silver storm softened and faded, settling into a glowing aura around her skin. Ariana opened her eyes, calm, controlled, powerful. "I was never weak," she said quietly, her voice carrying across the arena without effort. "I was waiting." Silence followed. Then Cale took her hand again and lifted it high. The blood moon packed bows to its Luna. One by one, the wolves knelt. Warriors, elders, even those who had mocked her. Lyra hesitated. Cale's golden gaze landed on her, cold as winter steel. Slowly, trembling, Lyra knelt too, but the ceremony was not finished. The High Elder rose shakily. "If she is truly Luna, the bond must seal before the moon." Cale turned to Ariana. No hesitation in his eyes now, only certainty. He cupped her face gently, his thumb brushing her cheek. "Do you choose me?" he asked softly, so only she could hear. This was not politics, not destiny alone. Choice? Ariana looked into his eyes, the alpha who had once thought her weak. "I choose you," she replied. The moment the words left her lips, the mate bond snapped fully into place. A golden and silver light exploded around them, intertwining like twin flames. The sky above cleared instantly. A single beam of moonlight broke through the clouds and illuminated them. The mark appeared on her collarbone first, a crescent moon intertwined with a crown. Cale's matching mark burned onto his chest. The bond was sealed. The pack erupted into cheers. But beneath the celebration, Ariana felt something else. A ripple. Dark, distant, watching. Far beyond the mountains, in lands long thought abandoned. Ancient enemies stirred at the awakening of the moon sovereign. And they would not bow. Cale leaned his forehead against Ariana's gently. "You changed everything," he murmured. She smiled faintly. "No," she whispered. "We did." But neither of them yet knew that crowning her Luna had just declared war on forces that had once destroyed her bloodline. And this time they would come for her openly. The Alpha King thought she was weak, until one night in his bed changed everything blood under the moon. The celebration lasted until sunset. Music echoed through the fortress halls. Wine flowed freely. Warriors roared songs of loyalty. For the first time in decades, the Blood Moon Pack felt invincible. They had their Alpha. They had their Luna. They had hope. But hope has a scent, and enemies can smell it. That night, Ariana stood alone on the balcony outside Kale's chambers. The mountains stretched endlessly before her, bathed in pale silver light. The wind carried something unfamiliar, not pine, not stone, not wolf. Her wolf stirred uneasily. Behind her, Kale stepped out, freshly changed from the ceremonial armor into dark fitted clothing. His mark still glowed faintly against his skin. "You should be resting," he said quietly. She didn't turn. "Do you feel it?" she asked. He stilled. Yes, a tension in the air, a pressure, like the moment before lightning strikes. Kale moved beside her, scanning the tree line below the cliffs. The forest was too still, no insects, no night birds, silence. Then a scream tore through the lower courtyard. Both of them reacted instantly. Kale's eyes flashed gold. Ariana's silver aura flickered alive. They leapt from the balcony together. Midair, they shifted. Massive black wolf, radiant silver wolf. They hit the ground in perfect synchronization. Chaos had already erupted. Shadowed figures stormed through the gates, wolves larger than normal, their fur streaked with dark crimson veins. Their eyes glowed an unnatural red. Rogue alphas, enhanced, corrupted. One of Kale's warriors was thrown across the stone courtyard like a rag doll. Another was pinned to the ground. Kale roared a sound so powerful the ground shook, and lunged into battle. He tore through the first attacker with brutal precision, but there were many, too many. Ariana darted forward, faster than any expected. A rogue lunged at her, and she met it head on. The moment it touched her silver aura, it screamed. Her power burned like holy fire. She twisted midair, slamming it into the stone pillar with crushing force. Warriors paused in shock. The weak servant fought like a goddess of war. Kale ripped through another rogue and glanced toward her. Pride surged in his chest, but then he saw it. 3 rogues circling her at once. They moved differently, strategically targeting her, not random attackers, assassins. Kale snarled and charged, but one rogue intercepted him, massive and scarred. Its red eyes locked onto his. "You cannot protect her," it growled in a distorted voice. Kale tore into it with lethal fury. "I will slaughter every last one of you." Back near the central fountain, Ariana felt it clearly now. They weren't here to conquer. They were here for her. One rogue lunged low, another aimed for her throat. The third waited for the opening. She closed her eyes for half a second, centered, then released more. Silver light exploded outward in a shockwave. The 3 rogues were hurled backward violently. Cracks split across the courtyard stones. The remaining attackers hesitated, and that hesitation cost them. Blood Moon warriors rallied, pushing the rogues back toward the gates. Within minutes, the invaders retreated into the forest. But not before one final rogue, cloaked and lean, stood atop the outer wall. Its red gaze fixed directly on Ariana. "You cannot hide anymore, Moon Sovereign," it called darkly. "The Crimson Court knows you live." Ariana's breath caught. The name sent a chill through ancient memory. The Crimson Court. The ones who slaughtered her bloodline. Kale shifted back to human form instantly. "So it begins," he said grimly. The rogue vanished into the night. Silence returned, but it was no longer peaceful. It was war, touched. Hours later, the courtyard was cleared. Wounded were treated, guards doubled. Inside the Alpha's chamber, Ariana sat on the edge of the bed, staring at her hands. "They knew," she whispered. Kale knelt before her again like he had the night everything changed. "Yes," he said honestly. "And they will come again." She looked up at him. "Because of me. Because of your power," he corrected. "And because they fear what you represent." Her voice softened. "They destroyed my father's kingdom, and they will not destroy mine," Kale said firmly. He took her hands in his. "I thought strength meant domination," he admitted, "but tonight I saw something greater." She searched his face. "You did not hide," he continued. "You stood." A faint smile touched her lips. "You stood with me." His gaze darkened slightly. Not with anger. With something deeper, connection. He rose slowly and pulled her up with him. "No more hiding," he said. No more pretending, she agreed. He brushed his forehead gently against hers. You are not alone in this war. Outside, thunder rolled in the distance. Storm clouds gathered along the horizon. The Crimson Court had made their move. And this time the Alpha King would not underestimate the girl they once called weak. Because she was no longer a servant in the shadows. She was Luna. She was sovereign. And she was about to become something even more dangerous.